So first off, let's get a definition down. You have a whole bunch of white space after the essential question. Let's get a definition about this word named slope. Slope is the rate of change between two quantities. Let's write down these examples. You're going to hear these examples throughout this year. First off, that delta y, that's a Greek symbol, delta y over delta x. That means the change in y over the change in x. So go ahead and get these examples of what these look like down. Some of you know it as rise over run when we were dealing with a graph, and then I just wrote it out in words. Change in the y column compared to the change in the x column. There's two types of models we need to realize. I'm going to use pretty often today y equals delta y over delta x times x plus b. But I think you might be more used to maybe y equals mx plus b. I want us to realize this is, in word problems, this is that rate we talk about. I'm going to sketch a table. So if we took 9.3 times 1990, how much are we going to have to add to get 263? We've got to find this position. So 18,507 plus what gets me to 263. Sort of doesn't make sense because I gotta decrease in order to get to 263. So maybe instead of adding, I'm gonna have to subtract some sort of stuff. So if I set up a little equation to try to figure out this number, it makes it a little bit easier. So what is this number that's going to be used in my model? So this magic number is going to be part of my model. So starting from yesterday, 9.3 times the number of years. Ooh, maybe I jumped the gun because we have to define our variable. We haven't done that yet. Jump the gun. Doop, 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 doop. So don't erase what you have. Let's write off to the side. You have define. I shouldn't say off to the side. You've got the word define. X is going to equal the number of years. And Y is going to equal the total amount of visits in millions, or total of million visits. So the rate of visits each year times the number of years plus, or I guess I should say subtract. So let's put in this magic number because sometimes this number isn't really making sense to me right now. But total number of visits. So let's write our model. Our model is accidentally what I accidentally jumped to within the table. Because I want us to practice realizing the rate is always going to be times something. And you're probably always going to equal a total, whether it's the total cost or whatever. There's going to be a base. I say base, but there's going to be some sort of number that we're going to have to discover today. So the model, let's put in our variables. 9.3 x minus 18,244 equals y. So now we can clearly see our variables mean number of years, total number of visits. How many visits will there be this year? So you got to figure out how are we going to find how many visits would there be this year if this still works. So 9.3 times 2018. We'll subtract that 18,244. That should end us with the total number of million visits. So this means we have about 500 million visits at that national park this year. So what if I want the equation of a line? So this equation of a line, that means model. So what would our model look like? An X and a Y should be in that. And then let's say you're given a situation where something started with -1 and something ended with 5. And I'm telling you that the rate is -2. So we're going to create a table. We're supposed to start with -1, end with 5. And I am telling you, you will definitely have to multiply your x by -2. We just have to figure out what that magic number is. Ooh, you're right. Typo. Should be -2 times -1 plus what gets me to 5. Magic number would be 3. Let's talk about what our model would be. Our model, or our equation of the line, would be -2x plus 3 equals y. Now, if you rather have your y equals first, that's okay too. This is also acceptable. This is where we're heading. So in this next example, when I want to write an equation of a line, that's a model. And whenever I'm given a point, that means I'm starting with -5, the number on the left, and I'm ending with the number on the right. Slope, that's our rate in a word problem. I am telling you again that slope, that's what we're going to multiply our x column by, and we've got to figure out how much are we going to need to add after that. So 0 times whatever is in your x column plus some number we're going to have to determine. So 0 times -5. And how much more do we have to add on? 2 is that number that's going to be within our model. So 0 times x plus 2 equals y. There's our equation of the equation of the line. So if I wanted to clean it up, 0 times anything would have stayed 0. Now, I accept this, but we're going to head to this. Let's do it again. Starting with 3, ending with 0. And then my rate that I'm going to multiply by is -1. So, taking -1 times 3, how much more do we need to add in order to get to 0?